Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. आज हम लोग जा रहे हैं salt mine जो कि क्रैको में है and this salt mine has a lot of things to do. And by the way, this is day 2 of Krakow. So we are here at the Żupy Krakowskie, which is the salt mine for the miners, and you can see the hammer and the chisel out here. So let's go inside and mine for some salt. Now we just showed our tickets and we are going to get our uniforms for the mining. 17 number and 18 number. In our lockers we have our purse and a small hat for the safety, ready in my jumpsuit and going inside the mine. So all the members are ready.
At the moment you have signed the paper in three places. Once that you go down and you agreed with going down. Second one that you got all this equipment. The third signature that you know how to use it, which I will tell you now. All the time helmets on your heads. Lamps we switch down. And in this box there is very special mask in case of any smoke or danger. Please don't open it, it's for one use only, okay? But I will show you how it looks like inside. So, if I tell you to use it, you take it out of the box, pushing this very hard. This goes on the back on your heart. Here you put your teeth, and this small clip, very small clip here, you put on your nose. For 1 hour we can breathe safely. It never happens that anyone had to use it, but you can feel safer knowing that some very helpful things. Spend about 2 hours down, and then when we go outside, I waited till you return all stuff, okay? Now in the lift we are going to first level. We are visiting 2 levels only. From the depth of 101 meters we will be taken up in the lift. Please click your lamps twice. Okay. All the time helmets on your heads. And now we go next to the map where I will show you what we are going to visit. Follow me, please. Has any one of you visited main attraction? No? So deposit in Wieliczka is very special. Over 13.5 million years ago there was a part of the sea. Seawater evaporated, a layer of rock salt was left. But Carpathian mountains uplifting pushed everything forward, and the salt deposit was broken into pieces. In tectonic movements, over 2,400 blocks of salt, like resins in cake, were thrown among other rocks, which made this mine so special, but also very hard to be excavated. Miners had to find blocks of salt. So through ages, between 13th century and 1996, when we stopped production, over 300 kilometers of underground passages were dug on 9 levels. All levels from 3rd to 9 were excavated. In 20th century, nothing is open for visitors. If you take a look at the map, you can see nets of lines. All these are corridors which had to be dug by miners. Each place, as here, are blocks of salt which were thrown among other rocks. We are visiting only this part which is marked in black. So at first level, these places, and then we go down to second level. Please watch your heads all the time, keep together, no one can stay a step behind the group, and no one can smoke any type of cigarettes or use open fire, okay? Follow me, please. To find blocks of salt, miners were digging nets of underground passages. If there was rock salt as up here, it was left as supporting. But in other places where other rocks as clay, sand, gypsum, miners built supportings of wood. And a lot of places excavated in the past collapsed through ages. Rock salt was discovered here in 13th century. The oldest part of mining we may visit here comes from 15th century. on tourist road, visitors can visit places only from 17th century. This part of mine was opened for public only 11 years ago. Even if we stop production here, still miners working with renovation, supporting, checking if all places are safe enough. Looking for different places if they are in good condition. Miners started to renovate this part of mine. That's why we may be here, down here today. But a lot of dangers were in this mine through ages. The biggest one were fires. Miners used oil lamps if open fire, a lot of wood, so it was very easy to start the fire. In this place, in year 1644, miners built an underground chapel. But few years later, chapel was decorated very beautifully for Christmas time. Miners left burning candles, and the next day, one of biggest fire in this mine was started. All chapel was burnt. But please remember that from 16th century, about 40 underground chapels were built by miners in many places. Polish miners are very religious people, work was very hard, so they built chapels to pray. We will see one more place in which chapel was, and only one chapel which still exists. Follow me, please. So in mines, the biggest danger during fires are smokes, which are poisonous. Okay, let's go. Watch your heads, please. So now our job will be to measure if there is any methane gas or not. You are quite tall, so please take this edge, put it as high as possible because gas gathers up. And you, here, you can't reach the ceiling here. And you, with two hands, try to pump air inside, okay? 0. Okay, all places on tourist road on mining tour are ventilated very well, so no methane gas.
This is all salt.
When wet air gets into any place, rock salt starts to crystallize. It's quite young, few months, and taken into fingers, it turns into powder. So even if you take it outside, in few seconds it will turn into powder. See, quite good quality, translucent also, almost. This is rock salt. Crushed into pieces, it could be used for cooking and food preservation. But salt is not flammable. So in places which were very much endangered with fires, miners made such gates in case of fire. And if fire started from both sides, it was enough to build the wall. There were some places much more endangered with fires than the others. To such places you can count the stables for horses. From 16th century, horses were transported into mine as they were kept in stables all their working life because they were too afraid of being transported up and down. Horses had to eat something, so a lot of hay was transported for horses. Oil lamp plus hay means a fire. So next to the entrance and next to the exit of stable for horses, there were such walls. Let's go to see the place which was the stable for horses in 17th century. Watch your heads. All made of wood. Such carts were pushed on wooden trucks. Being pushed, they made a noise of a barking dog, so they were called mining dog. From 19th century, iron trucks were introduced into mine. Before, everything was wooden. This saw is here for a few months and it's corroded, as you can see. Please move closer. And this is regular oil lamp. Imagine, not an open fire and a lot of hay. It was really very, very easy to start the fire. As you can remember, horses were kept in stables all their working life, down in mine. And they were in better conditions than horses working outside. Why? Because of minus ionization, which is in salt mines. All from air is taken next to the wall. Air is so clear that lungs of miners and horses were in perfect condition. At third level of this mine, there is an underground health spa for people who suffer asthma. Breathe deeply. At the very end of the tour, you will feel healthier. Not lift. Okay. In the shaft, they were transported in wooden boxes or attached to ropes. That's why they were so afraid of transport. Places could collapse. So miners built supportings of wood. They left a layer of rock salt. A lot of big fires were started, mostly by miners, when they used oil lamps with open fire, so much wood hay for horses. Methane gas could explode. And the fourth very big danger in all types of mines is an underground water. Water from the surface can't get into mine, but underground water is everywhere. and very easily find the way to mines. In salt mines, water is more dangerous than in other mines because it leaks salt out of walls. And as you can remember, miners left a layer of rock salt as supporting. So through ages, it was very important to get rid of water out of mine. The best material in salt mines is wood, so even pipes were made of wood, in which water was transported next to the other one. It's a piece of wood with hole inside. And then water was transported next to containers, above which there were pumps. And from one to upper level, water was pumped with use of many different types of pumps. Outside, it was transported to salt work, where it was evaporated. So next to rock salt, we produced evaporated one. Take the hole, whichever you wish. You come closer, help me to hold it.
Don't
Yes, very good. You are better, better and better. Original shaft from 17th century. As you can remember, as a counterbalance to salt, wood was transported here. So, wood was stored in this corner. A lot of wood, oil lamps with open fire, it was very easy to start the fire. So another gate in case of fire is built here. Wall is built of bricks, but this construction had to be made of wood. Wood is flammable, but don't worry, people in the past were very clever. When they built such construction, with axes, they took wood from inside, leaving such small pieces. These small pieces were not put inside, but other wood was taken away. There were a lot of them, but through ages everything fell down. Why such small pieces of wood? Because clay could be put on them. Thanks to these small pieces, clay didn't fall down. And it was enough to build the wall. And smoke couldn't get away. Follow me, please. Water got into mine in the past, water gets into mine nowadays. Down you can see draining system from 20th century. Take a look how very fast iron corrodes. So nowadays we have such draining system. Very special pipes in which water is transported outside to utilization company. So through ages, wooden pipes in 20th century, iron, now plastic. Okay. As you can see, very easy way to produce ropes. Do you think we are safe?
Yes.
Wood started to crack down.
You should put it here. Or where you put it before.
But in the 19th century, miners started to dig such straight corridors accompanied with iron tracks. Everything in 19th century. Place was not excavated anymore because rock salt was over at this level, but this level was very important for transport. And in the moment we will go further, but before I will show you ventilation system. And ventilation system is quite simple, but in each mine there are few ventilation systems. Why? If any danger in this one, very fast people are evacuated to the other one. Ventilation system consists of two shafts, one breathing in, and in such a shaft people usually go down. It makes something like very long U letter, and air is taken to shaft with ventilators. But people need to breathe in mine. So there is very special system to transport air into places where it's needed. They are doors. I close this one, just a moment, I have to check here. Okay. And this one, air does not go here but here. Miners, engineers know which part of mine should be ventilated. It's very easy to change ventilation system. But if any part of this ventilation system, there is a fire, there's smoke, something like that, people are evacuated to other ventilation system. When the boss of the action is sure that no one is left anywhere. In the past, water was transported next to containers. Above containers, there were different types of pumps. In front of you, reconstruction of pump called the wheel. For sure, such pump was used in this mine because we could find in documents its drawing, but we couldn't find original one. So miners made a reconstruction for you. One element is here, miners were pulling it. At the other side of the wheel there were small boxes into which water was taken, then on pressure water was put upper and in other nets of pipes transported next to container, above container, the pump and so on. If two hands. You have to transport it, okay? Okay. Okay, and now I put it back and take a look. That's why you can't drown in Dead Sea in Israel. Water is so salty, fully saturated, that everything falls out. If any one of you wants, you can taste the water. Anyone wants? Anyone? When you have any problem with throat, you make such a liquid and you make and it really helps because salt kills everything. So this year you will not have a salt throat. You will get your salary one by one. Come closer, but I have to check if it's up. Who wants a big one? Me. Take. Beginning of working day, miners who took care of horses took horses from stable and brought here. Horses in mine were always transported through an inclined corridors. Once transported into mine, attached to ropes of in the box, would never again go into any cage. Bye bye. At the end of 18th century, first tourist roads were started in this part of mine. At first level, places were quite small, not very big spaces to let too many visitors in. First level was mostly visited by engineers, people, scientists who were interested in mining. There is water liquid, so a lot of white salt, stalactites, and very special type of salt called salt cauliflowers. We are going down this staircase. Steps may be slippery, so please hold the handrail. If anyone does not want to go down, wait here for us. We will be back in 2 minutes. Okay. Maria Teresa Chamber. Very special place. You can see different types of excavation. In some places, marks after taking salt out with wedges. Here, with any collapsing, something like that, rescue team goes to rescue their friends, miners. First, they have a seat at this bench. This is equipment for them, and when the boss of action tells them where to go, they are going to look for their friends. When miners are taken outside, they can go to such place with the all you can see here, it's out of fashion. It was used by miners in 20th century, so they let us here to show us. Nowadays equipment is much better, but we can't open it because it's very, very expensive. This one costs 700 zlotych. So such one bag, I think, about 5,000 euro even, because all equipment is very high class. Congratulations for finishing.
Finally, we are back to the top, and we just now undressing and giving all the equipments back, and this is the location where we went. It was an amazing trip.
First place on our way was the chapel, which was destroyed during fire. First place we ever started. Then we went to place which was stable for horses. You could hear horses coming. From here we went to other place where you were crawling on your knees. I went the other way, and two of you were cutting wood. After leaving this place, we came this way. At this turning, ladies were making ropes. Then we went this corridor, and in the middle of it, two men were measuring the distance. Then we went to place called Gospoda, where there was food for miners. Next place on the way was the place in which there was a chapel but taken away. Can you remember? Only picture was. Then we went to see the last chapel which still exists. And all the way back. In this corridor, some of you were checking if distance is being changed. At the other side of this corridor, I showed you model of ventilation system. Then we went this very long corridor, and then we were checking, one of you was checking if salt is salty. Can you remember? We were turning the pump. In this place, you were looking for salt, you got your salary, and then we went to Żupki, where I showed you model of horse-operated treadmill. Take a look, quite short way to the shaft, so if any danger, very fast we are evacuated. But we came this very long corridor, and in the shaft down staircase we went down. In the middle of this passage, lady made an explosion. Then we went to place with chandelier and obelisk. From this place we went through Carolina corridor. At this wider part of corridor we were taking a look down at Maria Teresa chamber. Then we went to take a look from its balcony, and we came back.
Next, we are going to the tourist route.
This would be in the next vlog. Take care, bye bye, and